I've been reading a book by Ruth Van Gia called Strongman, which is about like the way that dictators and fascists and proteges of that movement in more modern times, like Putin, go about like giving themselves an identity that's greeted with quasi mystical fervor. Some of these guys don't go as far as to radiate divinity. But you know what I'm saying. Some of them are just like establish an ideal relationship with the masses that causes them to be seen as some form of savior who can never be questioned or replaced. And she explores various techniques that are used by people and fleshes out some of the hidden deposits of information that get glossed over, like how they are selective in who they advocate for while keeping quiet the throats that they sliced. You know, they're pretty gruesome people a lot of the time. And this allows them to be made into heroes of more powerful leaders who ignore their defects for alliance purposes in real politics. And she gives me some information about Italian dictators and whatnot. But she she glances on the ideas that I study, which is how the um, Hollywood system rose side by side with the great dictators. Because there's always sort of a similarity in the use of charisma and stardom and rivalry about personality cults. So she mentions that Eric Jan Hansen um, taught Weisler how to, well, Hitler, I mean, how to make, you know, uh, avant-garde cinema poses that would captivate. He was a hypnotist, how to captivate with gestures and so on. And there's some, you have to be careful. I mean, my reasons for believing that Gurdjieff was helping the Nazis come from personal experience with his lieutenants. They brutally tortured me. And the angle that they took was for the inner soul. Everything they learned about the psyche, the psychology of the individual, was used as a violent attack on an innocent person in an attempt to brainwash the mind into masochism, which is Gurdjieff's fetish. See, his sadomasochism was adopted by Penis J. Sinfield, who wanted me to worship him after he deafened me as a child. He puts out the mesmer music, you know, and gets all sorts of people to flock to him. He calls them moths because he doesn't care if they destruct in his candle burning people, incinerating people. And that's how Gurdjieff was. He was a psychopath. And he survived the Vichy France occupation. So he was doing things in the shadows that people don't know about. They were very. I knew a dude from the Gurdjieff Cluck who I met at Weisler's Banshees farmland. Robert Foote of King Crimson. His name was Hodorowski. Hodorowski. He lived on Franklin Street somewhere. And he was like, we don't talk about this stuff. It is clandestine. So Gurdjieff was recovering for some naughty, is how he got through the Vichy occupation. That's my take on it. Now, Hansen, Eric Jan Hansen, who taught Weisler how to fanaticize people, is rumored by one article I found to have connected with the Gestapo and Gurdjieff in the cult of the Dalai Lama. Uh-huh. I don't know if that's true. It would be a hard thing to verify. It looks like a cult garbage. But it does show you the mindset of his lieutenants. Penis Sinfield of King Crimson, with all their ugly, weirdo medieval gibberish, conjured people like Tamo de Jong out of the Phantasm hat of Goddard Independent College, who's in the Grangan Society, the founder of the Grangan Society, who used not just lookalikes, the way Hollywood would use lookalike, the way John Rawls would use the closest continuer, or Penis Oliver Stone would hire somebody to act like someone. But they use archetypes. You see, these are the deific roots of the arc of humanity that plunge from Dubious B, up there in the outer space, where somebody ripped off 1 billion years. From there, from in Dubious B, that the Zoroastrian tribes of ancient Timbuktu knew about, or something. The point is that occult gibberish has some foundation in motivation science. Like the partner of Charles Manson, John Lennon, who pulled a Houdini, said, "What's my song Helter Skelter got to do with knifing somebody?" And he was so idiotic that he couldn't. The rock industry pumped in absurdities into our society, like words never do harm. He was incapable of understanding that he was capable of admitting. He tried to brainwash people into denying that he was inciting things. And then he went around using, rather than trying to be careful that this was happening, he went around using them from the spirit world after he Houdini'd to ignite demolitions over innocent comments. He called it Louis twisting his ankle. Who made Louis twist his ankle? Who made Louis twist his ankle today? And he would, have a little detonator society with his dinner. This was the occult psychopathy of Roger Waters, and they leached it into the entire culture of Pittsburgh and Seattle, so that they have these drones who think they've seen into the parameter where Chomsky reconciles with Hitler Reagan and forms a union of blessed creatures. What gives with this stuff? It's really going on in terms of the occult science of what motivates these true weirdos down in Laurel Canyon. And they get help from Clint Eastwood, I kid you not. He gives them major assistance in stunt jobs. It's like this drama club that get absolute glee out of violating the laws and saying it was art, it was art, it was art. And they can't comprehend themselves, much less preach to others. But they have Eric Jan Hansen, the Dalai Lama, and the Casper spirit of Weasler, all in the sacred ark from Dubious B.